The truth? You're not unshakable yet, but you need to be. Because life doesn't give warnings. It hits, it punches, and it doesn't wait for you to get ready. So, here's the first truth. If you don't become unshakable, life will break you. Not once, not twice, every single time. We live in an era of illusions, dopamine, distractions, delusions of comfort. Your phone whispers that everything is fine. Society coddles you into believing fragility is virtue. But behind the curtain, the game is brutal. It rewards the solid, the grounded, the calm inside chaos. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Understand this. Strength is not how loud you yell. It's not how many plates you lift or how many followers you've got. True strength is internal, unyielding, calm while the world burns. When the storm hits, and it will, the weak beg for shelter. The unshakable become the storm. You're not here to escape life's chaos. You're here to become immovable within it. That's the mission, and that's why you're still watching. Because deep down, you know, your foundation is fragile, and we're going to rebuild it, brick by brick. But listen carefully. This isn't self-help fluff. This is war, psychological warfare, and your mind is the battlefield. So if you want peace, you have to earn it. If this truth already punched you in the chest, hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you're done being breakable. And don't blink, because the next section? It's where we start forging steel out of your weakness. Ready for step 1? Let's break the first illusion. The first lie that's keeping you soft. Step 1. Kill the need for approval. Let me hit you with a bitter pill first. If you still need approval, you're owned. Owned by opinions, owned by likes, owned by whatever empty praise you're chasing. And that's a prison invisible, but just as real. Approval is the leash around your neck. You move, you speak, you even think to satisfy someone else's standard. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." That's not cruelty. That's clarity, because when you build your identity on love from others, you become their hostage. But when you operate from self-respect, you walk free. You don't become unshakable by being liked. You become unshakable by becoming rooted. That means grounding your decisions, your beliefs, and your path in your own values. Not your parents', not your friend groups, not your followers, yours. Ask yourself, would I still choose this path if no one clapped for me? If the answer is no, you're still performing. Now here's the twist most people can't handle. Even those closest to you can become your prison guards if you let them. Family, friends, lovers. If their opinion is your compass, then they're driving your ship. You can't be unshakable if every voice moves you. You must become like a mountain standing tall, not because you want to be seen, but because it's in your nature to rise. Let me give you a weapon, a mental reframe that cuts deep. Their approval is optional. My mission is not. Repeat it until it gets tattooed in your bones. Because every time you compromise your truth to avoid judgment, you fracture your foundation. And fractured foundations crumble. Like what you're hearing so far? If this truth is rattling your cage, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're ready to throw off the leash and move with your own damn authority. What's coming next? We're going to talk about pain and why running from it is exactly why you're still weak. This next step, it's where we lean into fire. Step 2. Make pain your mentor. Pain is not your enemy. It's your coach, your mirror, your wake-up call. But you've been taught to numb it, escape it, pretend it's unfair. And that's why you're fragile. The truth? Every ounce of strength you admire in someone else was forged in pain. Nietzsche said it best, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." But here's the difference. The weak suffer without meaning. The unshakable choose their suffering. They don't wait for life to punch them. They get in the ring voluntarily. Cold showers, early mornings, pushing past limits, facing rejection, owning your flaws. All of that hurts, but it hardens you. It rewires you. It makes pain familiar and eventually irrelevant. You don't get stronger by avoiding the burn. You get stronger by adapting to it. Because when you become comfortable being uncomfortable, you become dangerous. Think about the strongest people you know. Do they complain? Do they flinch at adversity? No. They've trained themselves to lean in, to see pain not as punishment, but as a forge. Because every time you conquer pain, you expand. Your threshold rises, your emotional calluses thicken, and your mind stops reacting. It starts commanding. Let me be blunt. If you're still flinching at discomfort, you're still soft. And softness gets exploited in business, in relationships, in life. You need to build a nervous system that doesn't freak out when things go sideways. You need a spine that doesn't collapse the moment pressure shows up. That's why you don't just endure pain, you invite it. Every hard thing you choose to face voluntarily is a declaration. I own this pain. It doesn't own me. So from now on, chase pain that sharpens you. Emotional, physical, mental. Walk into it like a soldier stepping into war, calm, clear, and committed. And don't go anywhere because next, we're going deeper. We're going to burn the false identity you've built and build a real one from the ashes. Step 3. Burn the false self. Who are you, really? Not the version you post online, not the personality you shape to be accepted, the raw, stripped-down version of you. The one you barely recognize because you buried him under years of pretending. Here's the hard truth. Most people are performing their identity. Wearing masks, mimicking what works, saying what gets them praise. And over time, they forget they're even wearing a mask. But guess what? You cannot become unshakable while living a lie. Because lies are brittle. They're built to be broken. And when the world pressures a fake identity, it cracks like glass. Voltaire said, "Every man is guilty of all the good he did not do." Think about that. You're not just guilty of your mistakes, you're guilty of wasting potential. Every day you choose comfort over authenticity. Every day you build a life that looks good but feels hollow. So here's what you must do. Burn it. All of it. Burn the false confidence. Burn the fake humility. Burn the need to fit in. Burn the version of you who tiptoes, who pleases, who hides behind sarcasm, aesthetics, or fake toughness. Because that version is not you. It's a costume. And no matter how good the costume looks, it will always itch. It will always feel fake. And it will always crack under pressure. You know what doesn't crack? The man who speaks his truth, even when his voice shakes. The man who builds his life on values, not trends. The man who would rather stand alone in truth than be embraced by the crowd in lies. To become unshakable, you must strip everything that is not you. Only then can you build a self that's solid, whole, untouchable. Ask yourself this: what part of me is performative, Where am I still wearing a mask? You'll feel the answer in your gut. That's where the fire starts. Light it. And when you rebuild, let your foundation be this: honesty, discipline, and self-respect. Those three don't bend. If this part hit your soul, click that like button. It tells the algorithm, but more importantly, it tells you that this truth matters. Subscribe if you're ready to build a real identity, one the world can't distort, manipulate, or shake. What's next? We talk about chaos and how to turn it into your advantage. Most people run from chaos. The unshakable command it. Step 4. Master chaos, or be destroyed by it. Chaos isn't the enemy. It's the proving ground, the forge, the field where the unshakable are made. Most people pray for order, for predictability, for comfort. But that's not life, that's sedation. The real world is fluid, volatile, ruthless. If you need everything to be calm before you move, you're not ready to move at all. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You must build up your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this." Translation? You don't wait for clarity, you create clarity through action. You move in chaos, not after it. When the market crashes, when the relationship ends, when the betrayal hits, what do? Panic? Collapse? Rage? Or do you pause, breathe, recalibrate, and strike? Here's what you need to tattoo into your mentality. Chaos is not your enemy, it's your environment. The calm you seek, it's not outside you, it's inside, built through practice, through presence, through knowing that no matter what hits you, you won't flinch. Think like a samurai. Battle, ready, but emotionally still. Strategic, not reactive. Calm isn't the absence of conflict, it's control within it. If your identity is fragile, chaos will shatter it. But if you've done the work, burned the false self, built truth into your spine, then chaos becomes your dance floor, your hunting ground, your edge. That's where the unshakable rise, not in controlled conditions, but in the middle of the whirlwind. So next time chaos hits, lean in, watch, study, then act. Not from emotion, but from grounded power. Because when the dust settles, one truth remains. The storm only destroys what's weak. Stick around, because in the next part, we get surgical. We're going to cut out the one parasite that's draining your potential without you even realizing it. Step 5. Eliminate energy vampires. You can be disciplined, you can be focused, you can be on fire with purpose. But if you're surrounded by leeches, you'll bleed out before you ever touch greatness. Let me say it clearly. You will never become unshakable around people who keep you unstable. Energy vampires are real and they wear many faces. The friend who constantly complains, the partner who manipulates, the coworker who subtly mocks your ambition. They don't need to attack you directly. They just need to drain your spark until you're too tired to rise. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving." If someone isn't pushing you forward, they're pulling you back. There is no neutral in this game. You need to audit your circle like your life depends on it, because it does. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the people you love are poisoning you. Not because they're evil, but because they've surrendered. They've accepted mediocrity. And when they see your fire, it threatens them. So what do? They guilt you. They mock your efforts. They remind you of who you used to be. Because if you rise, it forces them to confront their own stagnation. Don't argue. Don't explain. Just cut. You're not arrogant for protecting your energy. You're not cold for walking away from toxicity. You're focused. You're building something, and anything that doesn't support it must go. Now, here's the part people miss. It's not just who you cut, it's who you bring in. Surround yourself with lions, with people who challenge your thinking, who sharpen your discipline, who remind you of your mission when you forget. Iron sharpens iron, but rust kills both blades. So write this down. I will protect my energy like my life depends on it, because it does. If that hit deep, click that like button and subscribe, because what we're doing here is different. This isn't therapy. This is armor. And next, we go into the fire of self-discipline, the part that separates the warriors from the wishers, the committed from the convenient. Step 6. Build discipline like a religion. Without discipline, you are just a slave to emotion, to mood, to impulse, to laziness, and you cannot be unshakable if your actions depend on how you feel. Let me say it again. Feelings don't matter, standards do. The world feeds you the lie of motivation. But motivation is fragile. It comes and goes. It's unreliable. What you need is something cold, relentless, automatic. Discipline is the machine that runs when your mind wants to quit. It's the soldier that shows up no matter the weather. It's the principle that says, I don't care how I feel, I do what must be done. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom isn't partying every weekend. Freedom is the power to command yourself, to push when it's uncomfortable, to say no when temptation whispers, to sit down and grind even when no one is watching. Discipline is the foundation of peace. Because once you trust yourself to execute, life stops feeling chaotic. You don't flinch when challenges hit. Why? Because you've built yourself into someone who does the work regardless. Wake up early, not because it's trendy, but because it's hard. Train when you're tired, because your emotions don't own you. Eat clean, because junk food is a metaphor for a junk life. Stick to the plan, because the old you is waiting for you to fall back. And here's a cold truth. Every time you skip what you said you'd do, you break your word. Not to others, to yourself. And nothing breeds weakness faster than self-betrayal. You want confidence? Earn it. Stack disciplines. Stack wins. Stack evidence that you are who you say you are. Step 7. Command your inner world. You will never conquer the external until you dominate the internal. Because your greatest enemy isn't failure. It's the voice in your head whispering that you're not enough. Here's the truth. Most people lose before they begin because they've already surrendered in their mind. They speak weakness into their own soul. They say, I'm tired, and then wonder why they lack energy. They say, I'm not built for this, and then question why they never rise. Words are seeds, and every time you speak, you plant a future. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let that land. The storm isn't out there. The storm is inside. Your thoughts are the wind, the rain, the fire, and if you don't take the wheel, they'll crash you into the rocks. The unshakable don't silence the inner voice, they train it. They rewire it, like a soldier rebuilding muscle. Every negative thought, countered. Every limiting belief, burned. Every doubt, faced and reprogrammed. You don't say, I hope I win. You say, I will win, or I will learn. You don't say, I'm not ready. You say, I'm ready enough to start. You don't say, I can't. You say, I will or die trying. Because mindset is not passive, it is not inherited, it is not gifted. It is built word by word, habit by habit, battle by battle. You want peace? You want power? You want presence? Then master your mind. Turn your inner world into a fortress. Solid, sharp, unshakable. This isn't a game. This isn't a trend. This is the blueprint for becoming a weapon in a soft world. Kill your need for approval. Lean into pain. Burn the false self. Command chaos. Cut the parasites. Bow to discipline. Master your thoughts. Do these, and there is nothing the world can throw at you that will shake you. Because you've stopped seeking peace from outside, and you've become it. So now it's your move. If this shook something inside you, like this video, subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. Because we're just getting started. And tell me in the comments, what's one weakness you're committing to destroy this week? Be honest. Be bold. We're building a community of warriors, not spectators. Until next time, stay ruthless, stay grounded, and whatever happens, stay unshakable.